Alright guys, so we have got the second Star League Assault Lance here. Big shout out to Kelly Caldwell, who was able to get me one of these from Gen Con to review for the channel. So as we take a peek here, let's look at the box before we get into it. I think this one was 45 MSRP. So we got 4 mechs and 1 vehicle. And I think essentially we paid, I think 5 mech boxes or 35 right now. But essentially, looking at this, be aware that you paid essentially $5 for this paint job. I wasn't a big fan of the first Star Leagues box in terms of the paint thing. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a half measure. My opinion on that is not going to change with this one as well. I think that having painted stuff is a good idea. I think the problem that I have is if you want everything to match this one, good luck matching that, right? So if you don't want this paint scheme, you're going to strip it. If you want these to match, you're going to have to match it. And it's going to be hard to get it exactly, at which point you probably would have been more happy to pay $20 more if this was fully painted, which would have made it $65, I think, or pay $5 less and have that unpainted. So I feel like these are good insofar as that's cool that you get it, but not good in that the value is just not here for that, in my opinion. I think these were individual mechs in salvage boxes, and they were sold that way. That'd be fine, because then you could buy it, and if this, came unpainted for people who wanted it unpainted, that would be good too. I also think if they just did Legends packs pre-painted, people would buy those, but I think there should always be 2, not a halfway, either all or nothing. That's my opinion. Not going to change. So as we look at the box, the artwork in here, as usual, is stellar. Looks really, really cool. I wish, again, this was an insert that you could keep, because it's going to get trashed. You could cut it out, but again, with all my unboxings, I always mention that because that artwork back there is really, really cool. So let's slide the box out of the way, though, and get into our unit cards and our models here. So let me sort these out first. So we got Steiner, we got the Emperor. They're not in the right. Whoa. Did I not get the Emperor card, or is it stuck to him? Interesting. So. Huh. Well, there's 4 mech cards. Am I just dumb? No, because there's a Coolant card. So one of these didn't even come with a card. That's cool. So we have the Direwolf, we have the Argus, we have the Helios. We don't actually have this guy, which I can only assume is the Emperor. Did not get a card for the Emperor, so that's cool. Just sarcasm is not cool. That's a little frustrating. As someone who collects these and plays games occasionally with them, that's a little frustrating. So that's awesome. So I've got these sorted out here. So we'll start out with the Emperor. Here's the card if you want to read it. And we don't have a Alpha Strike card to review, which here on the channel is a big thing that I like to do, and not going to be able to do that. So go ahead and take a peek at the Emperor. First glance, looking for some of the obvious areas I would look for mold lines. Not too bad. It's probably not terrible to clean off. There's a little one right here, which most people might not even see or care because it's out of sight, out of mind, which I feel like has been a design thing they've done a little bit by getting mold lines in a little bit easier, or not say easier places to clean, but places that are less obvious. So if you miss them, it's not a big deal. This one's got some that go across the top. That's a little rough, but there's the Emperor. Kind of goofy looking in my opinion, but some things about Battletech aren't always to my liking visually, so it's kind of an odd looking mech. Looks like a mech that tried to be a football player, if that makes sense. But again, a little frustrated that we do not have an Alpha Strike card for me to talk about. It's a little annoying. So let's go ahead and check out the Helios. Here's the pilot card that comes with. So this one's another Star League bro. That gives you guys a moment to read them if you want to. Let's check out the card. Usable in Clan Invasion and Onward. This one comes in at 34 points. TMM 1, 8J. 442 for damage. 1 TMM. Case SRM, nothing fancy. Not too bad when we're going off the baseline that I like, but to get your TMM where you want to survive, you're going to be jumping every time, so keep that in mind. And then this one coming in 6 points less, only usable in basically the Republic or Dark Age era and onward. 1 TMM 8, you lose the J. 444, you get CS BSS Case 2 IF1 Mech HQ 2. I don't know what I don't know what C3 BSS is. Some form of C3 network, I assume. And then this one had 10 pips of life versus this one having 9. So you're paying essentially 6 points more for less life, no jump, same damage, but you get these abilities. So if you're going to be paying the points for it, make sure you're making good use of these. Otherwise, no point in buying that guy or fielding that guy. So let's check out the units. It's got a chunky gun there, pretty big old gun, which looks cool. I dig the asymmetry. The guns up here are cool. Kind of reminds me a little bit of if this was elongated a bit more, a little bit like the Wendigo from MechWarrior Dark Age Clicks. But there's some mold line stuff obviously up under here to clean. Not the end of the world. Little nub in there. But kind of cool. You can see a little bit of the glue here, unfortunately. Not the end of the world either. But yeah, at least some of these mold lines you're going to have to deal with are in spots that you're not going to have, or you're not going to see very easily. So, yeah. Visually, another one that's not my favorite. It's kind of odd looking. Just a little weird. But I'm also not familiar with these mechs to begin with. Moving on, we have got the Argus. Here's the pilot card. Comes with that one. And you guys can take a little pause if you want to read that. And here's the unit card. So the Argus 4D coming at 42 points, Team M2, 10 move, 441 for damage. We got 9 life, Case, IF, 1 probe, and recon. Not terrible. Wish I like have a little more life, but I like that TMM and the movement. Coming in at 7 points more, Team M2, 12 movement. Okay. 452 for damage, OV1. No OV on that. Did we have OV on the other guy? We didn't. Okay, I didn't miss anything. Yeah, CS or C3S, so I guess that's like a slave. Mech HQ1, which is a shame because I actually like the 12 move and the extra damage, but you'd be paying points for something you may or may not use. So yeah, it's not terrible. I don't hate that one. The thing I really like about this one, which I'm excited to show him, is I'm a big fan of asymmetry. So I like the fact that it's got a gun and then like missiles here, and it's like got an interesting profile. I also like the elongated cockpit, and I thought that was going to be the canopy. It's not. Getting in there to do the jeweling will be hard, but it is what it is. Definitely a odd looking little mech, but I enjoy the asymmetry. Almost looks like it's got eyeballs here. Dude. But up here, oh, these are kind of nasty. If you got to clean that off. Right in here, that little nubbin, I would have preferred if that was on the bottom. So if you didn't clean it, you didn't miss it, but that's going to be a kind of a pain to clean that up a little bit. Same thing on this side. It's got that little nubbin. The back looks pretty crisp. Leg details look pretty solid, yeah. All in all, not too bad. Mold line's not too bad on this one. It's just these nubbins areas that are pretty rough. You'd have to deal with. I wonder if if they've changed the plastic at all. It usually curls. Yeah. Okay. So it kind of feels basically still the same. I know that there's been grumblings online that they supposedly had got new designs or new molds, but better process. I'm not sure if that's true. Next up, we have the Coolant truck. So we have the Battlefield support card, which I have not opened the Mercenaries box yet, which apparently has rules for this, but you guys can take a peek at that for Classic. Not something I'm going to be able to attest to for you guys. And then over here we have CT8, so Transport 8, EE, Search, and Turret 0. So it's got a 50-50 shot. If you hit a 50-50 shot of doing 1 or 0 damage, usable in all areas, 8 points. 1 TMM, 8-wheeled, and this is the Lifesaver Coolant truck. Then we have the Hover Coolant truck, even though it's got wheels, which, I mean, I guess you proxy. But if you really wanted to hover, get a hover. So this one's coming in at double the point, a little over double the point cost, 16H, so double the move. Damage still where it is. TMM is 3, that's not bad. 6 life, Transport 6, EE Search, and Turret. So it can only do short range damage and not doing much. So this is a novelty, in my opinion. I feel like there's supposed to be some type of I'm pretty sure. Is it maybe CT5? Maybe that has to do with coolant, and that's how many times it could cool. Because I thought the infantry transport was like IT, something like that. I can't remember, but I thought that was transport, or maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. That might be a coolant number instead, but I thought that was a transport capacity. Cargo transport? I don't know. There might be something for the coolant thing in that, but like this is just going to get nuked off the table and not do a whole lot for you. Especially at 19 points, probably something better you can spend your points on. But we got a model, so let's check it out. Here is our wheeled coolant truck. And that's kind of gnarly right in here. Not a big fan of that. And the wheels are okay. Little nasty mold line down there. You losing details. Like some of these smaller models, when I get into digging into the vehicles, I'll be curious how they hold up. It's not terrible up top, but the sides and the bottom are a little soft. The turret here does spin, which is cool. Though for painting purposes, I don't care that much that it spins or not, because I'm gonna have to paint around it. I guess you can pop it off though. That's good. So it's not super tight. I will probably just glue that down so I don't lose it, because honestly, I don't want to lose the part. But that's okay. For the price point you're probably paying for that, there's probably some 3D prints in the vehicles you can get, if I'm honest with you. So keep that in mind. Now, let's get into the dire wolf, who they've got pinned or tied in here with one of these old metal tie things that you used to have all your toys when you were a kid latched into your boxes with. Let's get that out. Struggle busting. Let's give me. There we go. I mean, I appreciate that that's there, but I don't think that this rattling around in that box is actually going to damage the paint job that much, if I'm honest with you. All right, so let's take a peek. Definitely looks like they're doing some kind of an oil wash. So essentially, like I said, you're paying essentially $5 for a essentially paying $5 for a paint job. And I don't have the Orion on hand to compare, but again, this looks like oil wash. They blacked out. I think if I recall from the Orion, I had determined that it was green plastic, and they hand painted the other stuff, so I imagine this was blue plastic. They probably hand painted the gray because it was the easiest thing to do. These lines are kind of rough. Checker pattern here is pretty not great. Canopy is pretty not great. Got a decal here at least. Yeah, it's fine. To be honest, I'd rather just get an unpainted one. I think the Orion looked better than this one. I'm not jazzed about it. This is, again, I mean, as a direwolf, it's cool. It's a cool model. I like the X patterns here. The mold lines and stuff we can see are about what we would be used to. This is a little rough in here. So this is what we're used to. I like the weapons and stuff. It's cool, but like I'd have to clean it. I'd have to maybe strip it, maybe try and paint over it, see if I could. But there's already stuff on here that I wouldn't want to have to paint over. And we don't have that choice. And you can't buy this model without the paint already on it. So as a customer who's getting this, you are buying it and paying for a model that you want, but you don't want the paint job. Or maybe you do. I don't. A lot of people probably don't. That they'd rather paint themselves. And if you do want to paint it yourself, now you've spent more money and created more work for yourself. And I think it's a half measure. These boxes for the pre-painted, this should be a single, and there should be an unpainted version in a pack, or this should be an all-painted box and then an unpainted version for people to buy. This is the premium, quote, premium model. And the non-premium should cost less and allow the artists or the customers who want to paint this as something else to have the opportunity to do so, or to paint this up. If I was going to paint up the, I could do this out of order. I'll show the card in a second. If I was going to paint up Victor Steiner Davian here for CSO, this model is poop, and I would need to clean it up and then start over, and that just creates more work for myself, which seems weird. And then if a customer really wants to paint this up to look like the way that they want it, then they're in the same boat. So I really think that these should be their own product, and then there should be unpainted versions. And if they want to make this the premium, do it, but it's a half measure. It doesn't go all the way. And people who do want to paint, you're creating a hassle for them, and they're having to spend money on a product they don't want to get the mini they do want, and that's just an unnecessary hurdle, in my opinion. And then there's completionists who would buy everything anyway, so they'd probably buy the unpainted and the painted. Honestly, if they sold packs of painted ones, I'd probably buy those, especially if they were factions I didn't play, so I could use them on my YouTube, and then buy the unpainted ones for stuff I did want to paint, for factions I also wanted to play to look really nice or submit to CSO. That's probably what I would do. But this is just, it could have been better. It is what it is. Oops, I didn't mean to drop that. That seemed dramatic. That was legitimate accident. So let's check out Victor Steiner Davian's card. 4 gunnery skill and 2 piloting. And flip that over and check him out. Okay. And let's check out his card. Oh, there's... All right. So they put the Emperor on the back of this guy. Well, we'll check that out in a second. That seems silly. Especially on a named guy. Well, I mean, get rid of this crap. Or this crap. Okay? And give me that guy. Right? I don't want this guy on the back of this guy's card, like when I have cards that are unlikely to get used. And not that people are using these this often, but like, come on, guys. Come on. Like, we already paid a premium, and then like I'm sitting here thinking I'm missing a card that's on the back of this one, but I also got 2 for this truck. 2 that are less likely to get used when this might get used. Like, come on. Come on. All right. Anyway, I digress. Back to the pilot card here. 66 points, usable in the clan invasion to the Dark Age era, not usable in the Ill clan for this particular variant, so the character's probably dead. 1 TMM, 6 move, skill 3. So they've already baked the skill in. OV3, 664 for damage. He has got 15 overall life, case, omni, and OV long. Not too bad for 66 points. He's gonna hit like a truck at skill 3. It's pretty good. Yeah, I can't complain too much about the actual stats of the guy. That's pretty good. And then on the back for the Emperor that we didn't know we had, 42 points, 1 TMM, 6J, obviously skill 4, 442 for damage, 1 OV, and what was that, 13 life, case, flak 111, usable in the clan invasion through Dark Age era. So he is also going to time out because character probably, croaks. So yeah, not as big a fan of that one. He's got some damage, but visually it's just kind of weird for me. I do like the Direwolf. I think it's cool. I think the paint job would be cool to paint up. I just think that this is just subpar, in my opinion. We paid more for a product that if you wanted it, you would have probably preferred all of it. And if you didn't want it, you wanted all these gray plastic. All in all, molds look fine. The mold lines are what we have come to expect. The coolant truck is all right. I think it added cost to this pack that we paid for a unit we may or may not use. And there's probably 3D prints out here for vehicles that look better and comparably priced. Yeah, I think I'll have a better experience with the other vehicles that they put out. I just think that this one seemed weird to put in the Star League pack when it's not really going to do much for you. So that said, folks, that's all I got for you today. If you enjoy this, send it in the comments below. Good, bad, or otherwise, let me know. It seems like a lot of my comments go one way or the other in terms of wanting to paint it or not. I think a lot of people did agree that it should have been a premium product with all painted or non-painted or both as products you could buy. But getting in the chat going in the comments below isn't bad for the channel anyway. So if you got things you want to share, sound off. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Keep painting your models, keep rolling your dice, and I'll catch you guys next time. If you made it this far, you're probably a viewer that already hits that like button when you see a video come up. You're probably already a subscriber, and you probably jump into the comments down below to help support the channel, to help support that algorithm. But if you're looking for some other ways to help support the channel too, make sure you check the description down below. Maybe you want to pick up some paints from Monument Hobbies. That's my paint of choice. The Pro Acrylic line is chef's kiss, good stuff. Maybe you want to check out some of the offerings from Death Designs, where I work in my day job. We got plenty of 3D printed products, as well as MDF terrain, some of the stuff that I have designed myself and we play with here on the channel. And if you're looking to bolster your Battletech ranks, miniatures, and offerings, make sure you check out Bobby from Fortress Miniatures and Games. He's one of the main supporters of the channel as well, and supporting any of these companies helps support what I do and helps to ensure that I can continue to bring content to all of you. If you want to become a super supporter, I highly recommend you guys check out the Patreon. You guys give that extra little edge to help push more content out, and I really do appreciate that. And my ultimate goal on the channel is to continue to be able to not only put out the content we have now, but to get to a point where you can put out more content later, whether that be battle reports or painting tutorials or just more rambles, anything at all. I'd like to be doing more content for you. This is something that I enjoy. I like being able to cast a light into the darkness to bring a little bit of hobby positivity to all of you and make you feel good, and also enjoy playing games myself. As we do the final sign off here though, I do want to go ahead and switch on over and do the scroll of awesome to showcase all the Patreon supporters, the super supporters of the channel, to give them some recognition for helping support what I do. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys next time.